Okay, this is the algebra review for College Algebra at the Art Institute. And again, a scientific calculator is needed in the class, and please bring it on the first day so you can work through this and do your best on the pretest. And again, this was developed along with the review sheet that came with this to give you an idea of what's going to be on the pretest and what's going to be in the course, and hopefully that you'll do your best on the pretest with this quick review. Okay, we first want you to solve 3 times 2y plus 5 minus y equals 18 plus 3y. If you'll distribute 3 times 2 and 3 times 5, that will give you 6y, 3 times 2, and plus 15. Combine the 6y and minus y makes 5y. Subtract 15. This 15, when you subtract it, disappears. 18 minus 15 is 3. So you have 5y left. Subtract 3y gives you 2y equals 3. Divide by 2, and you get y is 3 divided by 2. Okay, graphing and finding the solution set. First multiply by negative 3 gives you 6a minus 4 is less than. It was a greater than, and when you multiplied by a negative, it changed the inequality, negative 15. Then when you add 4, gives you negative 11. When you divide by 6, gives you a is less than negative 11 over 6. Okay, with interval notation, less than, so we're starting on this side, smaller than negative 11 over 6, so it's from negative infinity to negative 11 over 6. Since this is not equal, it gets a parentheses. Infinity always gets a parentheses. Then you can just take this and put it on a number line. Your negative 11 over 6 gets your parentheses, and you're moving smaller toward negative infinity. Okay, finding the midpoint. To find the midpoint, you add the x values and divide by 2, so it's negative 2 plus 3 divided by 2. Add the y values, 3 plus 5 divided by 2. This is 8 halves, which is 4, and this is 1 half, so it's 1 half 4. Okay, finding the slope. You subtract the y values. I usually start with the left one, it doesn't matter. 5 minus 2 on the top, and 3 minus negative 1 on the bottom. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4, so it's 3/4. So that's your slope. Okay, now we want to find the line equation. Now I use the point slope formula, which is y minus y is equal to m, your slope, times x minus x. And I just pick either the negative 1, 2, or the 3, 5. Okay, I picked 2 for my y value, and then negative 1 for my x value. And my slope, we figured it out up here, 3/4. Then we distribute. So it's y minus 2 is 3/4 x plus 3/4. Then we have to take this 2 and move it over, so you add 2. Now the number 2 is 8/4. Just multiply by 4, because that's our common denominator. So we're going to plus 8/4. So then when you combine those, you get y equals 3/4 x plus 11/4. So that's the line equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, now we want it in standard form. So if you take this in standard form, multiply everything by 4 to get rid of the fractions. So you get 4y. 4 times 3/4 is 3. 4 times 11/4 is 11. Then standard form starts with the x. So subtract 3x. So you have negative 3x plus 4y. And then change all of the signs because they prefer to start with a positive number. So it's 3x minus 4y equals negative 11. Okay, finding domain. Domain is the x numbers, which is 1, 3, 2, and 3. So I normally put them in increasing order, 1, 2, 3. The range is the y numbers, the 2, the 4, the 1, and the 5. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5. Again, you can put them in any order, but I usually put them in increasing order. And then, is this a function? Well, no, it's not. If you look at the x numbers, 1, 3, 2, and 3, 3 repeats. Since x repeats, the number 3 repeats, it is not a function. Function, every x is unique. It doesn't repeat. Okay, evaluating a function, take the number 2 and plug it in where you see x. So it's 2 times 2 minus 5. That's 4 minus 5, which makes negative 1. Take x plus 1, put it where you see x. So it's 2. Plug in the x plus 1 minus 5. That's 2x plus 2 minus 5, which is 2x minus 3. Evaluating negative 3x, put it where you see x. 2, negative 3x minus 5. That makes negative 6x minus 5. Okay, simplifying. I've found with students it's easier if you'll just take the first one and make a vertical, so 2x minus 3. Then the negative means distribute, so it's negative 4 and negative 5. And the last one is plus, so it's 3x minus 2. And if you'll do this vertically, the 2x minus 3 was my first one. I changed the second one because of the negative, negative 4, negative 5. That's negative 4x plus minus 5. And the last one is positive, 3x minus 2. And if you'll just add going down, it gives you x, and 3 minus 5 minus 2 is negative 10. Okay, multiplying, you distribute, so it's 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. 5 times x is 5x, negative, and negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And you combine your middle terms, it's 2x squared plus x minus 15. Okay, multiplication, I would just write it 2 times. That's what the square means. That's 3x minus 1 and 3x minus 1. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times minus 1 is minus 3x. Minus 3x again from this one. And then plus 1 at the end. And when you combine your middle terms, it's 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Okay, factoring. You look to see if they have anything in common. They have the number 2, so I would take that out first. You're left with x squared. Take a 2 out of 10, you have 5. Take 2 out of 8, you have 4. Then x squared is x times x. And the number 4 is 4 times 1. And then 4 plus 1, when you do the inside 4x and the outside 1x, makes your 5x. Okay, solving equations. At first must equal 0. If there's anything over on the right side, subtract it before you factor. Now you can factor this. X squared is x times x. 5 is 5 times 1. So I'm going to do the plus 5 because I need a positive in the middle. And I'm going to do the minus 1 because 5 minus 1 makes 4. Then you set each of these equal to 0, so x plus 5 equals 0. Set this one equal to 0, x minus 1 equals 0. Subtract 5, add 1, so you get x is negative 5. Add 1 gives you x is positive 1. And if you put that in a set, it's going to be negative 5 and positive 1. Okay, absolute values. You split these into 2 parts. You copy the whole thing just like it is, x plus 5 equals 7. Then you change. You can either change the inside. It's easier if you change the outside. So x plus 5 is 7, or x plus 5 is negative 7. Then you solve it. Subtract 5 gives you 2. That should be positive 2. And subtract 5 gives you negative 12. So it should be a positive 2 and a negative 12. So I corrected that. When you subtract, gives you a positive 2. And when you subtract, gives you negative 12. So then your final answer is, again, positive 2, negative 12, or negative 12 and positive 2 if you go into a set. You don't need that plus. I just, excuse me, I typed a negative and that need to be corrected. So that's those. So if you'll study these, this is a lot of what's in the course. It's this type of material, and studying this will help you do well on the pretest and hopefully eliminate a lot of the sections. The more you eliminate at the beginning, the less you have to do. So I encourage you to study this and do your best, and we'll see you in class.